So Huey Newton quoted Mao Zedong when he said, "Political power grows out of the barrel of a gun." Those were his final conclusive comments in the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China meeting, which happened in August 1927. Oh man, you people are not ready for this one. You're just not. So first I'm going to explore that. Then I'm going to explain why I wrote the comment just now, really, about, my other video, about why one should not sacrifice spiritual purity for intellectual acuity, or in other words, intellectual clarity. All right. So let's start with the political power, shall we? All right. So, what is really meant by that is, you can't really, you can't really have any political power without having the ability to control people, or the ability to seize control, or the ability to resist unfair laws and political action. I mean, in a way, it's self-evident, but a lot of people don't grasp this. If they did, they wouldn't want to give up their guns unless they admit that they're a sellout. If you admit that you're a bootlicker, you're working for the secret societies, that's pretty much it. I mean, the people who honestly want to take on the secret society structures are the only true revolutionaries. If you're part of any major movement today, in 2015, if you're part of any major movement, you are part of the problem. You're controlled by secret societies, whether you see it or not, directly or in a roundabout manner, directly or indirectly. So, that's what it is. So what is mental health? I seen today this Black Lives Matter lady says, oh, she threw in mental health as part of the problems. I see this, remember, anytime you see anybody talking about more mental health for people, they are part of the problem. Now, I want to make this absolutely clear. There are people that have mental health issues. And I'm sure that these very small percent of people, less than 1% of people, this very small number of people who have some sort of brain damage, some sort of cognitive impairment, some sort of drug-induced, hallucinations, hearing voices, what have you. Now, granted, remember, I talk about gang stalking. The government also makes it so that people hear voices. But some people are not manipulated by the government. They hallucinate, they hear voices. So there's a very, very small percentage of people who have mental health issues. So therefore, mental health is not a big issue. Period. Because it only affects, less than 1% of the population. Okay? It is a minor issue relative to the big issues, such as constitutional rights, such as the government's attempts at gun control, such as, jobs. Mental health is a very small issue. I would compare it to, I don't fucking know. I would compare it to, deciding what fucking color the flag should be or something. Or, that might even be seen as a bigger issue. I don't know. But just think of a fucking insignificant issue. There you go. It's not that big of an issue. It's actually, when I think of it, it's one of the smaller issues that's been blown out of proportion purposefully to bring in more control. The government controls the money. They control the major political movements in an attempt to control your mind. Everything they're doing is to control your mind. Controlling religion, controlling mental health, propaganda, the media, social media, so on and so forth. An attempt to control your mind. So, should we all sacrifice our fucking guns because less than 1% of people are mentally ill and even a smaller percent of them are likely to commit violence as a result? Should we sacrifice our guns because they overestimate how they dramatically and drastically overestimate how many people have mental illness? They completely exaggerate the numbers. They completely cook the books because it's the most profitable industry and it ties into national security and all that bitch shit because they're paying people under the table. And there's a lot of covert ops being done by psychologists like COINTELPRO and, you know, propaganda, you know, the Phoenix program in Vietnam and, you know, MK Ultra and MK Ultra 2 and so on and so forth, and gang stalking and Stanford research and development, you know, developing new methods to harass political dissidents and so on and so forth, and Kerry and Yale and on, okay? They want the money to do these things, and some of that money is given by the secret societies, the Masons and them, who are behind Big Pharma, the pharmaceutical industry, okay? So they pay some of the money. They share some of their information with the private contractors and the intelligence community and the government that they gather on people. So they're allowed to gang stalk people because they harass political dissidents, they gather intelligence, and they pay politicians under the table. And they're part of the same secret societies that control the government. They're on the same page, in other words. You know, they work for the same people. And so they're allowed to do this awful, you know, ignominious activity. These honorless dogs. These ignoble fucking heathens. And so, you know, they're trying to take away your political power. Because that's part of mind control. If you don't control political movements, then how are you ever going to control the minds of the people? It's essential. It is key in this mind control propaganda police state to control the political movements. And if nobody has the political power to start a movement, if you're a disarmed fucking pussy that they can pick on, you know, then you're not going to have a political movement. They'll just get a gang member to take you out. You know, they'll get a corrupt cop to plant drugs and kill you. You know, you don't have the power to resist them, so that you don't have true political power. You're gonna try to get a following, gather a following when they control all the respected figures in societies and the media and so on and so forth. Why do you think they want to acknowledge them the top martial artists in America? Because they want to control the respected figures in society. Period. You know? All political power grows out of the barrel of a gun, and it's maintained out of the barrel of a gun. Period. You know? And so that leads me to my other point. Spiritual clarity. Spiritual purity and intellectual acuity or intellectual clarity. One should not sacrifice the pure Christian doctrine of not dabbling in things that you're curious about that create that set the stage for a bunch of liars to pretend that they know about, to corrupt and influence and cloud and control your lens, your perception. Let's take witchcraft. Complete nonsense. But there are cowards who have followings who convince people that they know the truth about these things. Astrology. Almost complete nonsense. Granted, the wise men followed a star and the sun stopped shining when Jesus was crucified, you know, according to some virgins and so on and so forth. You know, granted that these things play a part and nature is telling us something, but no one knows what that is. So when you go down the path of following the blind about what no one knows and perhaps no one could possibly know, for the, you know, because you want intellectual clarity. So you sacrifice spiritual purity. You sacrifice the true path to God and enlightenment in favor of a mediocre attempt to achieve more intellectual clarity. Spiritual purity is wisdom. Vain attempts to achieve intellectual clarity through paganism, witchcraft, pseudoscience, that is not wisdom. That is foolishness. These people are trickery. Religion includes trickery and it includes truth. Stay on the path of truth. All those who love the truth, they love the Christ, they love God. Trickery, deception, misdirection, diversion, lies. So why do these people go for that? Because knowledge is power and power corrupts. So they're seeking this knowledge that they don't have. And the people who know that they don't have the knowledge, who are trying to teach these other people who are seeking this knowledge, they have the knowledge to know that they don't know. And that knowledge has become power because they know that some of these people, at least some of these people logically who are following them, don't know that these people don't know. So they have that knowledge that, hey, they don't know, but they're telling people that they do know. And that has corrupted them to a certain degree. It's not absolute power, but it's a certain amount of power. Don't sacrifice spiritual purity for intellectual clarity. Like I put in the title of one of my last videos I uploaded. Freemasons. Let me get this right. Let me read it from the title. Actually, I had to upload the last video 3 times. I don't want to get into that. It's just going to frustrate me thinking about it. Okay. Masons value intellectual dishonesty over spiritual truth. I got to finish the title. It's a good thing I reminded myself. So they value intellectual dishonesty, trickery, Hermes, trickster, tricks of the trade, the god of the trade, tricks of the trade, the trickster. They value intellectual dishonesty over spiritual truths. So they've sacrificed spiritual purity for attempts at intellectual clarity. So therefore, valuing quote-unquote intellect over religion has failed these lowly, pretentious, pompous dogs miserably. These know-nothings, these dimwits, these half-wits, these imbeciles, these clowns. And of course, they get all dressed up just like clowns, and what they're doing is rally silly and rally, immature, rather immature. So, again, a lot of you watching this, you know that I'm right already. When you're disarmed, you're just a disarmed bitch being told what to do by the government. The government doesn't fear you. When the government doesn't fear the people, that is when ultimate tyranny is achieved. The only thing keeping them from completely making you their bitch is the thought that you might blow their fucking face off for it. The thought that everybody has a breaking point. Everybody has a line. Okay? So when they cross that line, they want to make sure that you can't do nothing to them. They want to say, well, what are you going to do about it, you dumbass? Not only are you disarmed, you were stupid enough, and I do mean stupid, to let us disarm you. Do not be surprised when the people who do what they do what they do. But be very surprised when the people who do what they do don't do what they do. Therefore, the tyrannical government, the drug-dealing filth and mental health, the secret society garbage who have been doing alchemy and chemistry, which evolved into pharmacology for hundreds, if not thousands of years, for the purpose of control. And these secret societies are still around. Don't be surprised when they do horrible things for the purpose of control. Some Mao fucking Stalinist Hitler fucking shit for the purpose of control. Some American slaughter type shit for some eugenicist fucking shit. Some greedy, underhanded, divisive, demonic, ultra vile fucking shit for the purpose of control. Do not for 1 second be surprised. Do not live your life as if they're not doing it or they wouldn't do it. Live your life knowing that they are doing it and they would do it and they will continue doing it. Do not be surprised when the lowly secret society dogs who have oppressed us, lied to us, killed us for thousands of years do just that.